Hello again. This is the second video in talking about persuasive speaking. And I just talked about how persuasive speaking differs from informative speaking. Now I want to talk about the 4 phases of persuasion. At the conclusion of this segment, what I'd like you to do is to go to the discussion board and answer the questions having to do with these 2 segments. And I really want you to think about the persuasive messages that have been effective or ineffective, and at what level you have been persuaded in the 4 phases. Okay? So the first phase of persuasion is reception. Reception basically means you hear it. I've heard it. It could be in one or and out the other, but you've heard it, you've been exposed to it. That's just reception. No changes happen, you've just been exposed to the message. The second level has to do with orientation. Orientation means you've not only heard it, but you've considered it. You're like, well, that's interesting. Like maybe you hear about a product that you didn't think you need, but suddenly you think, well, you know, that wouldn't be the worst idea I ever thought of. You start to orient your life. How would this fit into my life? The third phase is called acceptance. And with acceptance, you actually get to a point where you're like, yep, I agree. That's great, yes. But that's not the highest level of persuasion, because let's face it, a lot of times we might agree with something, but we don't necessarily change as a result of it. So for instance, we might agree and accept the idea that we should all work out 3-4 times a week. We all go, yeah. Where's the donuts? That's what we want to know. We agree, we accept it, we think it's a great idea, but we haven't necessarily gone the last step, which is integration. Integration is when you have heard it, you've thought about it, you've accepted it, and you've changed. You've changed your behavior, you've changed your thought process, you've changed your ideas, maybe the way you've lived. This is the highest level. And I'm starring that because that is something that will be on your test as far as making that change, not just hearing it, but actually making the change. It's also a question that a lot of students tend to get wrong. So I'm just putting that little hint out there that it's integration when you actually make a change, when you do something that's different. So now that you've seen these 2 videos, I'd like you to go to the discussion board and answer the questions that are corresponding to these 2 videos. And your completion of that discussion forum, your answers there, will count both as your points toward a speech assignment and also your attendance for this class. Thanks so much for listening.